Hello guys, KP Shamino here with a new video for Call of the Wild Angler, and this, what they posted today, is something for me. So they posted how the system is going to work, where you can find the fish, how comes that on certain position you got a certain species, how come that on certain position the fish is going to be bigger, how the data worked and how they come to a conclusion. And that's something that I like a lot. So for the guys that don't know this, I'm very good at mathematics and problem solutions. That was my job in the past too. So I worked a long time in the industry, and my job was, when the production stopped and the machine was broke, I need to fix that problem. So, but you always need to see everything. You need to always know how everything works, and then it's very easy to come with a problem solution. So stuff like that, it's like a little bit my Valhalla. I like it a lot. You need to be a little bit a nerdy boy like me to like this stuff. But I'm going to do an overview, and during the overview, I will give a little bit my input, because at the end it's a lot of stuff they are going to say, but it's very simple if you know what they are saying, of course. And that's what we are going to do in this video, because they say everything. So we are going to start here with first talking about this interview. It's with Nathan, and he's a technical designer. So that's the guy, I think, that make the program. That's the guy that makes everything the fish is doing. He need to be sure that it works. So the spawning, the population, the big fish, where they are sitting, when they are biting, when they are not biting, all that stuff. That's what this guy is doing. He's the boss, I think, of like a small developer team, because I'm not sure that he's doing it alone. I think it's too much work. But that's what he is, and what his shop is, and what he's going to say is this. So a little bit of backstory. So how do you go about populating the waters in an area as big as Golden Ridge Reserve? It's a very big one. I think it's 30 or 24 kilometers square, or square kilometers. That's a lot of water only for one area. I always thought that they did it just by hand and just put a fish somewhere and then it was done. But now he explained that's not the case, and I can understand that, because if you need to put like millions of fish in an area, it takes a lot of time and manpower. And those days you don't need to do that, because you can make systems that just do it auto. I went to school and I did, I studied programs, how you need to make programs. And on that moment, it was like that. So if you made a program, every line you need to say, then you need to do this, then you need to do that. But that's 30 years ago. Now it works different. Now they just make algorithms, and you do it one time, and then they do it automatically the whole time, and you don't need to do anything anymore. So, but he says just the same. Well, the first approach was to do this by hand. However, it soon turned out that going over every water body to figure out whatever a particular fish was appropriate for a lake, pond, or river is just too much work. I can understand that. And indeed, in the future, if they get more areas, you need to imagine, if you see Fishing Planet, they got 23 areas. If you need to put it with hand, it's like 1 billion of positions that you need to do. It's impossible to do this. Because of this, we turned to a more automatic solution. In short, our fish spawning system take a ton of data from across our entire game world, puts it together, and uses it auto spawn fish appropriate to a given water body. So what it's going to do is, they are getting 20 parts of data. That's a little bit later. And according to that data, the system knows, here we need to put that kind of fish, and that's how big it need to be. That's it, what this article is going to say. So, and that's really cool. And that's a really cool approach. And I think they do it in the other fishing games too. Because I don't think that in other fishing games they put it with the hand too. So, now when I say automatic, I don't mean that we can just take our hands off the wheel and go on autopilot. No, of course not. You got the data, and on that moment you need to say to the program what it need to do with that data. So, for example, you got very good data. This has to be a place for a very big Largemont Bass. You still need to make a program that the Largemont Bass is sitting over there. That's very important. And that's what is said here too. So they are always improving that system. So it's work in progress, and that's really cool. So because you need to get the data, you can put a Largemont Bass over there, but the main problem is sometimes you are going to overlap that problem. So if you are on a position and you got like 10 kind of species on the same position, and the data says, okay, it's very good weather, it's very good depth, very good position for that kind of species, they are going to bite all 10 at the same moment, and that's what it means. So they need to make it a little bit more accurate, but that's, yeah, it takes some time, because they need to get always data, and it takes some time, and that's why he says we are still improving it all the time to make it more accurate. That's what he means with that. And this is not the first time that I see this. So this is like a heat map. You can say it's like a heat map. When Fishing Planet was released, I saw this too. So what happened? Hackers hacked Fishing Planet. They put it in YouTube videos, and of course, if you got something like this, I saw of Mudwater River in YouTube videos heat maps. So they just said like red was more a better place for getting fish than yellow, and I think it's here just the same. So I think that this area is a little bit better to get fish than the yellow one, or it can be another fish species too. That's possibility too. But in Fishing Planet you could see where the hotspots were on that moment, and I'm very happy that they deleted all those videos, because at the end it was just hacking. Here it's a little bit the same system, so you can see here that here is a perch swimming around. And here is another fish swimming around. I'm not sure what it is. Here I can read catfish channel. So this is a little bit a heat map where the fish is sitting and where they are swimming and where they are going to get bigger and where they are going to bite. That's very, yeah, that's what you can see here. And here is a fisher. So the guy that is fishing. And he's going to talk about heat map. So in the image above, you can see one of the many locations a player can fish from. We can view where the fish are swimming in real time. That's very important, because a lot of people were already... This is, I think, finally they answered. So the fish are swimming in real time, guys. So that means that the fish is not spawning in this game, like in Fishing Planet and Russian Fishing 4. I think that we can now say, because it's here, fish are swimming in real time. So it still doesn't say that we can see the fish swimming, but it means we got a fish in the area, it's swimming around, and until you catch that fish, it stays in that area swimming around. That's new. That's, I think, after Ultimate Fishing Simulator, the second game that does that, and a lot of people wanted to have that, because now you can hunt for that fish. If you can see it visual and you see a very big fish and you think, there is a fish, you can just throw something on his head and try to catch him. So here we can see fish are swimming in real time, including their species and size. The differently colored squares represent part of the water with different attributes and slightly different fish spawns. Remember, this is all secret information. I already told you guys it about Fishing Planet. It was a hack. And it continues to be fine-tuned until we get the correct results. So this is this part. So now we know that. Now it's time, of course. Now that we know where the fish are swimming, this is the heat map. Now we are going to talk about the data that is influencing the bite, how big the fish is, what kind of fish it is, and this is the next part we are going to talk about. So, okay, with that out of the way, what is this ton of data we gather? Indeed, it's just data that you got now. Data is nothing worth until you use it. That's how data works. I can give you a billion data, but if you cannot think about the data and you don't make the correlation with other data, it's just data. It's brainless mass, and that's what they are saying here. It's a mix of information that is present in the world and values we infer based on that information, as well as outside factors. So we are using over 20 different pieces of data that all interconnected. So all the data is connected, and out of that data the program is going to take info, and then it's going to make a certain fish species and how big the fish is and how it bites. So it's very simple. So you got a heat map, fish are swimming over there. The moment that you got like the best data for a certain fish, you will get a diamond. That's how it works. But there is a lot of more, of course, that you need to find out. But that's simply said what he's saying here. You've heard of water depth, time of the day, and temperature before, but there is a lot other stuff too. So bed vegetation is here too. And that's understandable because a largemouth bass is not sitting in a deep hole. Sometimes they go to the deep holes if it is very warm, but a bass, a pike, a muskie are predators. So what do? They like to get like a shiner. Where is shiner sitting in vegetation? And where can a predator hide in vegetation? So this is normal. So bed vegetation, that means it's going to influence the predators and not the carp. A carp is not sitting in vegetation. He eats there, but he most of the time just swims around. It's like a cow. And therefore it's very important, but it's very cool to see this here. Using all of this information, we can effectively give each bit of water a grade per fish species. Where one location might be perfect for largemouth bass, the temperature is just right, it gets all the food it's looking for, the bed vegetation, just what I said to you guys, and it has plenty of vegetation, yeah, here it is, to hunt in. That same location won't work for salmon. So, yeah, that's what I just said. Choosing the correct fish, having lots of data about our world is great, but matching this up to what our fish actually need is where the magic happens. Jokingly called fish Tinder. So yeah, that's really, yeah, that's a little bit a nerdy joke, but I understand it. Our system looks at every location to see if the conditions are correct for every fish species. If the grade is good and the minimum conditions are met, a fish can be found in that location. So if you got like the smallest, like you got vegetation and the temperature is good for largemouth bass, you will find that species in that area. Just the base one. So it's a small one, and that's what he's saying here. The better the grade, the bigger the fish that may be around, as this area suits the particular needs very well. So here, this is very important. So if you can find a very good position and the temperature is good and the vegetation is good and they got a lot of bait fish, you can find, I think, a very big, and they call it here a diamond fish in that area. But you need to, I'm not sure how many of the data is required. You got 20 inputs. Is it all 20 that need to be perfect? It's possible. So it's going to be very hard to get the diamond fish. But I think that you can figure it out, because you see probably the fish swimming and the fish stays in an area, but it's going to be very hard because you need to imagine this. So you're sitting somewhere and a largemouth bass requires 20 Celsius temperature, 19 Celsius temperature of the water. It need to be in the morning. The vegetation need to be this. You need to use that bait. And that's the position, and that's only 6 of the 20 that I'm saying now. There are 14 other. It can be like 5 minutes in an entire day that you can catch that fish. Therefore, I don't think it's going to be that you need the 20 data inputs. I think a diamond maybe 10 to 15, because otherwise it's going to be, yeah, not possible to catch that fish. That's what I'm saying. So a better fish equal bigger fish, so he said it here, so maybe even a diamond. So the higher the data input, the more, of the data input you got, of those 20, the more chance you get to get a bigger fish. Here you can see the spawn points once again. With so much information, we need multiple tools to help us provide a clear picture of what is going on. In the image above, you can see such a tool. On the left is our data map. So here you can see the data map. And I guess that the red is where the fish is very active, which can show us very accurately where we can find specific fish and a specific rank. On the right, you can see our fish counter. It shows us the total number of fish and breaks down per species and ranks. Yeah, so this is this. So it's a lot of, it's crazy. And yeah, that was it, guys. So I'm a little bit tired now. So what I see is those guys are doing a very good job. And I'm not going to say to you guys how the system now going to work practical, because I already told you guys it. So at some point you can figure it out. Because what I see is that fish is swimming in a certain area. Because the data is going to say that. So if you got a vegetation bed, you will find the predators over there. That's already the first step to find a certain fish. That's good, because normally if you go in real life, you go to vegetation too if you want to get a predator. Or a rock. A rock is sometimes working very well too for those fish. And that's the first step that is already good. If you find that, are you always going to get a diamond? No, because for the diamond, you need to find a very good spot, and then all the other factors from the data need to be at the best too, and then you will get it. But it's very good read. I hope that I explained it very good to you guys. So it's not that complicated as it looks. It's just getting the data, put the fish somewhere, and if all the data input that is required for a certain fish is met, you will catch the fish. That's simply said how it works. Thanks for watching, guys. Have fun. And I see you guys in next video. Bye bye.